Hello everyone and welcome once again to my channel. My name is Portelles, and for today's video we have a brand new episode of Extraordinary Talks. Today's video is very special because for the very first time on my channel we have an international reigning queen. And judging by the title of the video, you know that I'm talking about Lindsey Coffey, who is currently the title holder of Miss Earth 2020. I'm super excited to present to you the conversation that we had about so many things, going from being crowned virtually to traveling around the world to getting to spread her message on an international scale. I would also like to thank personally my friend Salvatore Arrasia for being such a helpful hand when it comes to creating these interviews, helping me with the research and the questions. But going back to Lindsey, we have to say that being an international title holder as Miss Earth during a pandemic is not easy. Yet, Lindsey Coffey, a World Wildlife Fund International Ambassador and reigning Miss Earth, has found ways to be impactful and still carry out her duties like her EcoEd series online. And thanks to her title, she has been able to travel to Latin America, Belgium, and Greece to spread her message and bring awareness. This year's edition of Miss Earth has taken on the theme of Colors of the Earth. So on today's episode, let's see what shades Lindsey Coffey can give us. I'll meet you with her right after the intro. All right, everyone, welcome once again to Extraordinary Talks. And just like I promised, here I have our amazing guest, Lindsey Coffey. How are you doing, my dear?
Hi, I'm doing well. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Super excited and so great you get to see the kitchen in the back.
We're discovering with you your apartment today. Honestly, thank you so much, first of all, for accepting the invitation. It's such an honor and a pleasure to have you here with us for the talk show. So I'm really excited about the interview that we're going to have today.
Yes, I'm ready. Let's dive right in.
Let's get right in. So the first thing that I wanted to ask you, first of all, is that how you doing? How is it going? And how has your year been so far?
Well, I'm doing well. I know November's right around the corner and we're going to be crowning our new queen. So I will say I'm a little sad, but very excited to see how these events turn out. I know this is going to be our second virtual, so I know exactly how that feels now. I can relate to a lot of what the girls are going through. So it's interesting now to be on both sides of it, going through it and now being kind of on the other, like outside looking in as well. So it's interesting.
That's so true. But so when you think about it, I feel like you were crowned under a very specific context, right? It was right in the middle of the pandemic, and to a certain extent, you were really the first one to go through that experience. Can you tell us a little bit, how was it like being crowned at home? How did that feel at first?
It was odd. It was definitely interesting. We had some major challenges, to be honest with you. I mean, everyone did. Just basically putting on an entire production yourself, it's very challenging. So thank goodness I did have like my team from USA help me. But being crowned virtually, if you ever watched my crowning moments, I didn't believe the host whenever he told me that I won. I thought it was a joke, and I didn't know if we were. I was like, wait, are you serious? I had no idea. So I thought this is maybe we had to pretend that we won in order to get like a pre-recording of a reaction or something like that. I had no idea. But the one thing I was like almost certain was that he was joking. So when he told me he wasn't and it hit me, you can even see on my face the moment where I realized, oh, wow, he's not joking. So I feel being crowned in person, I wouldn't have been as confused if I won. So yeah, the confusion was definitely the main part of it.
Oh, but honestly, I saw the coronation moment, and you seemed like a little like shocked, confused, and like you didn't know how to process.
I
But
was so I was terrible. I didn't even know they were recording. I was fixing my hair. I was adjusting my dress. Like my face was right into the camera. I had no idea. It was
oh,
a mess. It was a hot mess.
but it was certainly something that you deserved. I remember when the Miss Earth pageant was going on, everyone was pretty much on the same page that you were like really like a standout for the batch of girls, and you were really deserving. So good for you, and we're really happy. And you've done amazing with this year, everything that you've done. So
Thank you. I appreciate that. I do know that I was ranked a little higher during the Miss Earth competition, which was funny because during the Miss Earth USA competition, like no one's ever heard of me. So no one even paid attention to me. And then I ended up winning out of nowhere. And then they were like, okay, we're going to pay attention to this girl now.
Right? I mean, a story of resilience, super inspiring. So precisely because you were crowned from home and, becoming a reigning queen for such a big pageant during an entire pandemic, you had to do things a little differently, right? So I feel like one of the biggest tools for a beauty queen within a virtual pageant will be social media. And you have used that tool very well during your reign. So what was your first impression of, how did you start managing your reign and how did you use social media to spread your message?
So having a virtual reign and just being in COVID entirely, social media was very important. And a lot of people turned to that during this pandemic to whether pass the time or to have telecommutes from work or with their doctor. So social media was the thing. And turning to it, having that really become part of my platform was challenging for me as well, because I'm not really a social media person and I've never been. So I had to find a way for me to portray my platform and what I wanted to see the change in the world and just do that all on social media. So it was challenging. And that's whenever I came up with EcoEd, the series where I would just pick a topic about the climate crisis and display it weekly so people can educate, raise awareness, and even doing just collaborations online with Greenpeace Philippines and Greenpeace International, WWF, Food for Life Global, just having a platform that can reach not only your audience, but others as well is very important with social media. So that's why the collaborations are key. So it was challenging and frustrating at times, but it was so important that it had to be done. We had to overcome every obstacle. We really didn't have a choice.
Absolutely. And I feel like it's really impressive the fact that you were able to adapt not only you as a beauty queen, but also the entire organization, because it would have been so easy to say, it's hard, like we don't know what to do, but they really found ways to make it work. And I feel like the impact is still there, regardless of the
Yeah.
virtual aspect of the pageant.
Absolutely. It was an unprecedented time. So I feel everyone did the best that they could with what they were doing.
100%. So in a previous interview, you actually said that you have been environmentally conscious since childhood. How would you describe your upbringing with your family? Is it something that was always present in the household or something that you learned by yourself as you were growing up?
Yes, it's definitely something I learned by myself. No one in my family was really environmentally conscientious. I just knew. So I always say I was an environmental activist before I even knew what the term was because I was so young. So when I was young, I loved animals. I loved spending time outside. I adopted a highway and would pick up litter on the side of the road. And I did this all before I knew that we were nearing towards a climate crisis or that we were hurting our planet. I didn't know any of that. So I just always had that intimate personal connection with nature. And then as I grew older and I became aware of my surroundings and what was happening to our planet, that's whenever I decided, okay, I need to do something about it. And after experiencing some natural disasters of my own, I was like, all right, we really need to step up our games as humans and really make an impact on this planet.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I have learned by talking with a lot of beauty queens that are participating in Miss Earth, precisely in Miss Philippines Earth, because I was doing a series with them, and honestly, it's impressive the amount of knowledge, information, and resources that you girls are able to share. Because just like yourself, I come from a family that wasn't particularly, like conscious about the environment, but after having so many conversations about different, issues and topics, sometimes I find myself like going out and I'm like, not a straw, like no, like, you become super aware of things. So I believe that, using this platform and the beauty pageant, is a great way to attract the audience, but at the same time, just give them a lot of information and knowledge that really stays with them.
Exactly. I couldn't agree with you more.
During the pandemic period, when a lot of people stayed at home because of the restrictions and the limitations, we noticed a dramatic change in the environment. Is this something that you believe we should take as an indicator that we should keep in mind in the future? Maybe we can learn from this experience. How do you perceive that as someone who is so invested in the environment?
The pandemic did have a silver lining, and that was the consequences of our actions. Those came to light. When we all stayed indoors, we saw the impact that humanity had on the planet. And as you said, we've seen a dramatic increase in air pollution. Hold on, let me start that over.
Yeah, go for it.
But as you mentioned, with air pollution, we saw a dramatic decrease in air pollution throughout cities and countries worldwide. We saw it from Los Angeles to Lebanon, Beijing, Indonesia, Bangladesh. We saw them everywhere. And it was all just from staying indoors. You could see the proof just outside of your window. So it was a dramatic instant where we were able to realize what was really happening. And even when it came to just water quality, not saying the pollution of the water, but just seeing the sediment relax and being able to see the clear blue water for the first time in a long time because of the shipping traffic, that's just a beautiful sight to be able to take in. But also the transportation sector, I believe it's the main sector that contributes to CO2 emissions. I think it's around like 30%. So planes, trains, and automobiles, when they stopped working, we saw a drastic improvement in the environment.
Absolutely. So keeping this in mind, right? Because now that things are going, I mean, in most countries, things are going slowly but surely back to normal. How can we learn from this experience, and how can the people still use their voice to remind themselves that, you know, when we saw that everything stopped, things can actually change. Now that everything is going back to normal, how can we still adapt, but, you know, maybe keep some of those good practices that we learned about during the pandemic?
Yes. So two key terms that you use that I like to highlight is voice and change. And those are synonymous because they go hand in hand, because with your voice, you can create change. And you can do that with, of course, small behavior modifications from home, doing your daily life, like no plastic straws, like high energy, low energy efficient purchases. But ultimately, the truest solution to the climate crisis is within our legislative branch. So we need to turn to our government. We need to turn to our politicians. So call your state senators and representatives, let them know your concerns. Go to, on a local level, your town hall meetings, city council meetings, discuss with them maybe new policies you can implement in your community, such as recycling programs, carpooling. Honestly, the opportunities are endless. So it is all about not just letting your voice be known, but letting your voice be heard.
Yes, absolutely. Being the change that you want to see in the world. Sometimes I feel like we take for granted, I mean, like not for granted, but we minimize the impact that we can have in the world and the people around us, you know, just by being a leader by example sometimes can go a long way.
Yes, I completely agree with you. It just takes, honestly, one person to see a change in someone else to be able to want to duplicate that change as well. So it's like a domino effect, and you have to keep going, because eventually maybe not 100 people will change, but maybe you'll just get that one. And that's all really that matters sometimes.
Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about the pageant itself. So can you tell me what made you want to enter Miss Earth in the first place? Because, I mean, when I was planning this interview, one of the things that I was talking about with my friends is that a lot of people didn't see you as like the typical beauty queen at first. Like you were kind of like on a different, I would say, like level. So what was it for you that attracted you to this cause and that made you want to try?
Well, it definitely, as you could tell, wasn't really the beauty queen aspect of it, since that doesn't typically follow suit to how I've lived my life or how I even perceive of living my life. It was never something that interested me. But what did interest me was the environment. And when I came across Miss Earth and I saw their platform, they had a true purpose, and I wanted a purpose in life. So I can't really explain it, but I remember sitting on my bed with my laptop, and I'm staring at the Miss Earth USA homepage, and I'm just like, should I do it? Should I not? I don't know. But like, I had this overwhelming, just this energy just kind of pull me towards it. And it made me submit my entry form, and it just kind of went from there. But I can honestly tell you, it was just a feeling that I had it was a calling, and I can tell you I'm so grateful that that was a calling that I actually answered.
I know. Oh, that's amazing. I feel like because I've had the chance to talk to some of the girls that did Miss Philippines Earth this year, and a lot of them shared the same, experience. It was something like, I've always been passionate about the environment, didn't really see myself as like the typical or at least stereotypical beauty queen, but they just had like this sense of a calling and that they needed to get involved, and honestly, none of them regret it. So I feel like if people out there are watching this and they are, considering it, or if they're doubting it, maybe just give it a go, and you never know, the impact that you can have in the world. So
Oh, absolutely. And just to kind of go off of that, you don't have to be the stereotypical beauty queen to join a pageant and, promote that platform. I mean, I went into it so scared, out of my comfort zone, not knowing what I'm doing. I do not like makeup. I mean, I have like mascara on now, but I know beauty queens like put on like they're glamorous. They have a lot of makeup. But so I just want to say you don't have to resonate, you don't have to relate to a beauty queen in order to become one. So everyone has their own definition of beautiful, so you can be your own beauty queen, however you define that.
I love that. And the ones that we always remember, that we always stick with, are the ones who are unique unapologetically themselves. So,
Yeah.
don't be scared to be yourself, and, fight and get involved for the things that you're passionate about. So, can you tell us a little bit about your experience traveling the world? Because judging by your Instagram page, I've seen that you've been to Latin America, to Europe. You visited a lot of countries. So, can you tell us how was this year for you as a reigning queen and getting to discover the world?
I'm so grateful because I didn't think that I was going to have that opportunity.
Mhm.
Just with how the competition went, everything being virtual, I didn't get to experience the Philippines. I was a little bit despondent about it because I so badly wanted that to happen. And I'm very grateful that we had some amazing Miss Earth organizations that just kind of took me in, flew me out, made me feel like family. So I've traveled to Guatemala, Belgium, Greece. Belgium was my first country, and I've never been to Belgium before. So it was very interesting just to kind of be in a different part of Europe. I've been through few countries in Europe, and I will say, no matter the country, it kind of does all feel the same. Like with the architecture, it's a very old continent. Guatemala, that was the first time for me as well. Beautiful people. I felt like family immediately. The energy in Guatemala is just fabulous. And Greece, I've been to Greece before, but I've never been to Athens. So it was really nice being really to the heart of Greece. Everyone knows about Athens. We know about the history, and it was really remarkable to be able to walk the ruins in ancient Athens. So that was really just fantastic.
Oh, that's such a beautiful experience. And honestly, I'm glad that you get to experience that. Like you said, because with the year that we had, in 2020, that seemed very unlike to happen, but it did happen, and you get to not only discover the world, but also spread such a positive message. So now that you have been Miss Earth for almost a year, would you say that the more than one country campaign has been successful?
Okay, so the term success is funny because everyone measures success in their own way with their own perspective.
Mhm.
So when I think of success with my campaign, my platform, I was able to accomplish a lot through social media, creating my EcoEd series, collaborating with different organizations, kind of raising awareness, educating where I could. I've been able to say yes to a lot of opportunities to just increase my own knowledge and spread that awareness. So I would say I have success in that area, but would I say I'm successful? I would say no, because there is still so much work that we have to do.
Yeah.
We have so much responsibility as humans to protect this planet. And I can assure you that our work is not done yet. So my work is not done yet. So that's
Oh, yes, it's totally right that there's always more to do. But already the fact that you are being part of the conversation, that you're doing what you can possibly can as a person, as a human being, and working with such amazing organizations, I feel like it's really like a great example for people out there, not only for beauty queens, but also for people who look up to you for what you do on social media on a personal level. Like so much that you're putting out there. So we thank you on behalf of, the pageant community, but also on behalf of the earth. All right. So you already talked a little bit about your eco-ed series. What has been like the biggest what has been the biggest takeaway from the series, and something that you have learned by creating it?
I've learned a lot by creating that EcoEd series. It's not completely finished yet. There are 20 episodes where we just released episode 17. And it's amazing how much you think you know that you don't really know. And so I thought that I knew a decent amount about the environment, but the more I dug into it, the more I looked into it, the innovations that we're creating through technology to go strive for a greener planet, it's unfathomable. Like, I thought some of these inventions, these creative ideas didn't exist. Some type of biotechnology that we've had for centuries, not centuries, but that we've had for years, that we have not really fully utilized. It's just, there's so much knowledge and information out there that you can absorb. And my EcoEd series isn't necessarily about learn everything that I say. My goal with that series is, if you can at least take one fact that you didn't know yesterday that you now know today, I would consider that successful.
Yes, very, very good. And I'm sure, like, once again, it's all about creating tools and putting the resources out there for the people to have access to the information. Because sometimes, I mean, like, for someone who, like us, who didn't grow up on a family that was necessarily environmentally conscious, it can be a little difficult at first. And there's a lot of information. It's overwhelming. It seems almost impossible. So by making things simple, accessible, and just, introducing it as a format of a short video or an Instagram post, it just makes a huge difference. So thank you for putting in the work.
Of course.
So with this year, the pageant for Miss Earth is going to be virtual once again. And since you already had this experience being the first reigning queen that was crowned virtually, what is your message to the candidates that are preparing for this year's edition, and what should they keep in mind?
Well, it is very, very challenging. And what I feel makes it most difficult is trying to portray your personality through a screen so the judges can get to know you. And also the time zones. So everyone around the world is in a different time zone, but these events are only held at one time. So that was very challenging. You have very early mornings or very late nights, or right when you're supposed to be dead of sleep, you have to be up doing these events and activities. So there's a lot of trials and tribulations you have to go through in order to, just be your best self as a delegate and to represent your country. My advice would be, of course, give your best, give that confidence over the camera so that we can see that personality, and really stay true to yourself. I was always told throughout my competition, my authenticity was something that people remembered. So whenever you are authentic and you are staying true to yourself, I feel like your essence, your colors of you as a person really shine through and shine the brightest.
Absolutely. I love that. I really love that message. And if I can add something myself, I would say to the girls, don't forget to have fun.
Oh, yes.
Such a
No
nice
competition, don't have fun. No. Of course. Of
Yes,
course.
girls, embrace the experience. You're surrounded by so many like talented, beautiful women. Just, enjoy every single moment of it, regardless of the outcome of the competition. It's really a particular environment. So just make the most out of it. So something that you mentioned already, I know that you already addressed this publicly, but a lot of people are happy that we're having a virtual pageant because it's safe for everyone. Like you said, like everyone gets to do their own work and present it as they want to do it. But also I've heard, I saw online, like someone who was criticizing the fact that it's a virtual pageant, and you replied to them. They were comparing Miss Earth to other international pageants. What is the essence of Miss Earth as an organization? What sets it apart from other pageants?
I believe I remember what you're referring to. I don't typically respond, but that one I really felt necessary to address because Miss Earth has been around for 20, going on 21 years, and they've always had the same mission throughout, which is environmental protection and climate action. And every platform that they've used was to spread awareness on this cause. And it's been shown that they are a system that doesn't represent just pageantry. It's always about the environment. So they take that pageantry platform, which is an entertainment platform, and they utilize entertainment in order to spread their message. So whenever someone commented that it was going to be virtual, what was the point? Like, why would I be going there for a Zoom call? But it's not about that. It's about uniting with fellow passionate, strong, beautiful women that want to make a difference in the world. And we don't need an audience in order to show the world that there's an issue and we want to make an impact. So it's not really about the glitz and the glamour. It's truly about the cause and the passion when it comes to Miss Earth.
I love that. I remember like when I saw, because that was going on the pageant blogs, everyone was talking about, oh my God, look at the reply. And I read that, I was like, mic drop. My girl did that.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, so one last question for you. If you think of the previous year, of everything that you have been able to experience, the people that you have been able to connect with, and everything that you have learned, what do you think sets you apart from other Miss Earth title holders? What do you think will be the essence, what people will remember from you?
Well, I thought, if I could think about this, I know every other previous title holder, they all gave their all, they did their best. I can say what I think I'll be known for, which is, of course, being a virtual queen and being the first Miss Earth from the United States. But what I would really want to be known for is being in a time of just unprecedented and giving it all I have. I want to be known for persevering and being resilient and pushing through and really just giving my best. So I want to be known as a queen that didn't stop even when times were tough and tried to make that difference no matter how small. So I'm hoping that's what they will remember as I go, but we can only hope.
Oh, amazing. I love that. And you accomplished, you know, all of those things that you have mentioned. You did such an incredible job with so much class, with so much, you know, elegance, and always by staying conscious and putting, first of all, the message of being environmentally responsible in the front line. So how can people support you during the remaining, you know, part of your reign, but also even after that? Where can we find you on social media? Where can we support and spread your message?
Yes, so thank you for asking. My social media, basically across the board, is Lindsey Marie Coffey. That's Lindsey Marie Coffey. So I would love the continued support. Everyone's been so grateful throughout my reign, and just honestly more than I could have asked for. But I'd also love for them to support the Miss Earth organization with the decisions that they make. I know it's very hard time and there are a lot of conflicts about what they want to see within the pageant, but I just want them to trust the system and trust the process and know that Miss Earth always has the best intentions for their candidates and for their viewers. So I just want you all to keep that in mind, and thank you all so much for the support that you've given herein, and I graciously appreciate it.
Absolutely. Amazing. Well, and what can I tell you, Lindsey, on a personal level, thank you so much for accepting to have this interview with me. It honestly has been a dream of mine for a very long time. And to finally get to talk to you one-on-one, it's honestly an honor. Anything that I can do from my little platform, you know, to help you, to spread your message, anything, I'm just like one DM away. And I wish you nothing but the best for the upcoming weeks and for the rest, you know, for whatever projects you want to do after that. We're here to support you.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you for inviting me. I truly appreciate it. I love being able to have these interviews and really just having that conversation. So thank you so much.
Oh, thanks. And everyone watching us, thank you so much for staying with us until the end. I hope that everyone is taking care of themselves, staying safe, and we will see you very soon with another episode of Extraordinary Talks. Take care, everyone. Bye.